Hi everyone, thanks for watching this video. Today I am really pleased to introduce someone very special for you. One of the things we always do when we are looking for resources to help our clients is we sometimes bring in other partners, people that really bring some unique value to businesses across the country. And it's my pleasure today to introduce Brian Beckon, Vice President at Cutting Edge Capital. Brian is an attorney by trade, but he has over 2 decades of experience working with nonprofits, startups, publicly traded companies, and his experience spans a whole range across diverse industries and across diverse areas, including law, finance, software, publishing, energy, and philanthropy. And Brian has agreed to join us today to talk about a really unique value offering that he works with his clients on, and he wants to talk a little bit about that today. So, Brian, thanks so much for being with us.
Thank you, Ali. It's great to be with you. Thank you. Hello, everyone.
How are you, Brian?
Glad to be joining you. I'm
Thanks for
great. Thank you.
being here. Why don't you briefly introduce yourself?
Sure. Brian Beckon, and I've been an attorney for about 25 years. I started out my career in sort of the usual law firm, career trajectory. Worked at a North Bay law firm for about 5 years, and around the mid-90s, I decided to go in-house, and I was in-house counsel for a couple of big publicly traded corporations, Catellus Development Corporation, which is a real estate company, and Sybase, the big software company, now owned by SAG. And then around early 2000s, I decided to shift gears a little bit and move into the nonprofit world. So I was with RSF Social Finance for about 6 years and worked in there with their investment fund. So while on one side of the firm or the organization, I was doing philanthropic sort of work, on the other side we were doing a investment fund, and I handled all securities compliance and did all the work to bring an investment fund to market and register it in many states to issue securities. And then I shifted gears a little bit and decided to work on some crowdfunding projects, because along the way at RSF, I'd found what really inspired me was helping to democratize the economy. That is to help find ways for entrepreneurs to raise money without having to go through the usual Wall Street-based banking system, or without having to go through the VC market. So I wanted to find ways of helping entrepreneurs to raise capital from their own community-based capital. I really decided was where the need was. So I worked in some crowdfunding companies, and then about 2 years ago, I discovered Cutting Edge Capital. And this is an organization that was founded specifically to help bring about what we call the new economy, and that is an economy that's more equitable, more inclusive, more democratic, that really focuses on helping organizations raise community capital. It's exactly what I wanted to do. So I've joined. I'm now a shareholder and partner in the firm, and we have Cutting Edge Capital is a consulting firm, but we also have a law firm. All of the founders are also lawyers. So our law firm is called Cutting Edge Counsel. So I'll stop there for a moment and go ahead, LA. But it's great to be here. Thank you very much for everyone for joining us.
Wonderful, Brian. So we're really talking about raising money, and many of my clients are probably not familiar with some of the terms that you were throwing out there. So just in brief, what problems do you solve for your clients?
Well, so our clients are typically entrepreneurs raising capital, and the problem that they face is that these sources of capital that traditionally are available to entrepreneurs really are not well suited to a lot of entrepreneurs. And specifically, what I mean is, if you're starting a new business, I mean, perhaps the first thing you're going to do is go to your friends and family and raise some capital, and that's great. There's nothing wrong with that. But once you tap out your friends and family and you're looking for some real growth capital that your friends and family can't come up with, you're really faced with some fairly few options. You can go to a bank and get a loan, and I've been down that road. So I've got some experience working with a local bank trying to figure out how we can get a loan. And my experience has been they generally won't make a loan until they see that you're profitable, or that you have good solid collateral like real estate that they can easily attach if they need to. Well, a lot of small growing businesses have neither. They're neither profitable nor do they have real estate collateral or other collateral that will make a bank happy. So you've got this issue that getting a loan from a bank just may not be possible. So the other alternative that a lot of early stage businesses, or not necessarily early stage, even growth stage, even companies that are profitable, will be in the position of going to a VC firm or some sort of institutional investor. And that can work, and we're not necessarily opposed to that, but frequently the VC firms will want too much. They're going to be telling you the terms of their investment, which frequently means that they're going to ask for control. And there's a lot of examples of entrepreneurs having to give up control of their company to a big investor, which sometimes can go well, but sometimes can go very badly when there's a disagreement about how to run the company. And the other thing about a lot of the institutional investors is that they're only really interested in funding companies that have the potential for hockey stick growth, for that 10x return. And you'll find that a lot of companies, even if they are solidly profitable, if they don't have that potential for hockey stick growth, they will be told that they're not fundable.
Right.
Well, it's a shame for a good, solidly profitable, well-managed company to be told it's not fundable. That just doesn't make sense. So the problem is neither of those options work for every company. And I won't say they don't work for any company, of course. Sometimes it does work. But there must be a better way. And so what we do is help provide that other way of raising capital, and this is to go to your own community, your community of people that support you, that love you, that want you to succeed, and those can actually be your best investors. And they don't have to be institutional investors, they don't have to be wealthy, they don't have to be accredited, they can be anybody in your community. So that may be, for many entrepreneurs, a better way of raising capital.
So it's really interesting what you're talking about here, because you're basically talking about crowdfunding capital raises for businesses who either can't get a loan, or the terms are so odious that they don't want a loan, and don't want to take VC money because of all the things that are attached to it.
Right. Exactly. Exactly.
It's a really awesome concept, and I want to hear more about it. What are some of the businesses that typically have benefited from the approach in terms of size? You mentioned startups as well as growth mode, but size, maybe industry sectors. Who can really benefit from this?
Well, really anybody. It's not limited to any sector. If we have clients who are, do in every sector from food and agriculture, all the way through, breweries and restaurants, but also technology. We have a solar desalination company. We have an electric vehicle charging station company, and a hotel. Really, all kinds of businesses can do this. So virtually any sector. And as far as stage of the company, it actually can be any stage, from early stage startup pre-revenue. We've done several. Well, I'll go talk a little bit more specifically about what it is I'm talking about, but generally I'm talking about direct public offerings. We've done several direct public offerings for early stage companies that actually are pre-revenue, and then a number of clients that have been in business and been successful for a number of years, but for whatever reason want to raise capital, either perhaps maybe they've been leasing a building for years and they want to buy the building, so they're raising whatever it may be, $1 million to buy the building, or they want to grow, or whatever it is. So sometimes they're mature companies, early stage, it can be anywhere in between. And then size of companies, it really is a pretty broad range. If you're looking to raise under, say, 250,000 or something, what we do is, it may not be the right way to go because the numbers may not pencil out. But anywhere, raises anywhere from maybe 250,000 up to 50 million or more would be suitable for the kind of strategies we use.
And that's really the complete spectrum of raises. So that's really great. So you work with all kinds of
Pretty
businesses,
much.
anything over 250K.
Yep.
Excellent. And what is your approach or the method that you use, kind of when you start working with a client, all the way through when you get to kind of a concrete direct public offering?
Yeah. So with a direct public offering, the first thing we do is do some strategizing with our client. We help them figure out what they want to offer to their investors, and then what legal strategy they want to use. So, and we can talk more in detail about that if you'd like. There's a number that, when we talk about a direct public offering, that actually encompasses several different distinct legal strategies. And by the way, direct public offerings can be thought of as a type of investment crowdfunding, as you mentioned earlier. This is all within the realm of funding. Crowdfunding is itself a big topic. I could talk about that if that's interesting to anyone. The different types of crowdfunding, but investment crowdfunding is one slice of the whole crowdfunding world, and direct public offerings are a type of investment crowdfunding. But anyway, back to the process. What we do is we first, as I said, do some strategizing and help figure out exactly how you want to do it. And then we help you prepare the offering materials, and that usually means an offering memorandum. That's your disclosure document that discloses to your potential investors anything that they would need to know. This is where you put all what we call material information. Material simply means that it would affect someone's decision to invest, or would affect the information that would affect the value of what's being offered. So all material information, anything someone would want to know, goes into your offering memorandum. And then we also put together some other materials, an application to the regulators. And then we submit all these materials to the regulators. And at that point, we're waiting. We wait for their responses. Sometimes they issue a permit easily. Sometimes they ask some clarifying questions or want to change something in the deal. But at the end of that regulatory process, the regulator, that is the securities regulators in the specific state where you're doing the offering, will issue you a permit. And at that point, it's a fully registered offering. It's very cost effective because the state regulators aren't have processes that aren't nearly as onerous as the federal SEC. And at that point, you can go out and conduct a public offering. And by public, I mean you can advertise, you can put it on your website. You don't have to have a pre-existing relationship with anyone that you offer the investment to. You can use social media, issue press releases, whatever you want to do. And it is a public offering in the sense that that your investors don't have to be accredited investors. They don't have to be institutional. They don't have to be wealthy. Anybody can invest. Offering is not a new strategy. It's actually been legal for virtually since the 30s, when the Securities Acts were implemented. So for almost a century, you've been able to do direct public offerings. They haven't, for various reasons, been very popular. They had a surge of popularity in the 80s with companies like Ben & Jerry's and Annie's Homegrown, Equal Exchange. A few others did them. Some pretty well-known companies did them in the 80s. They kind of fell out of favor in the 90s. Now our firm, Cutting Edge Capital, is really leading the resurgence of direct public offerings. But like I said, there's no other firm that we know of, at least, that really specializes in it.
Wow, that's great and wonderful to hear that companies like Ben & Jerry's and Annie's went through this. One thing I think you mentioned is that law firms don't find it to be very profitable, and certainly Wall Street doesn't want it. So that may be a couple of reasons why.
That's true. Yeah, and I mean, it's interesting that you mentioned Wall Street. We like to say that this is a way of raising capital that bypasses Wall Street completely. Wall Street probably should be concerned about what we're doing because this is a threat to Wall Street, but right now we're so far off their radar that they don't care. That is, the big financial institutions aren't concerned about this. in another 10 or 20 years, this is going to actually threaten their financial business model. But right now, we're not on their radar screen, and we'll keep it that way for a while.
For a while, yeah. So if someone's listening to this video and they're a business owner and they're looking to raise some capital and they want to contact you to see if you could potentially help them with that, how does a consultation work and how should they reach you?
Well, anybody can reach out to me if you're interested in exploring capital raising strategies. I'm happy to chat with anybody, and we typically, will spend with with someone, without charging any fee. We love to talk about this. We're really evangelists for community capital, and at our firm, we really believe in this. That's why we're there. We're definitely on a mission to help democratize the economy, and so send me an email. You can email me at my email address is out there, brian@cuttingedgecapital.com, and we'll set up some time to chat. And if it's convenient to come to our downtown Oakland offices, come meet us in person. Otherwise, we'll talk on the phone, and we'll talk about what you want to do, what your goals are, sort of what stage you're in, and we'll help you figure out if some sort of investment crowdfunding strategy works for you.
Brian, terrific. Thank you so much for your time. Really appreciate you being with us and love what you're doing. It's exactly the kinds of revolutionary things that we try and work with our clients on. Best of luck to you, and thanks again.
Thank you so much. I mean, like I said, we're on a mission to change the world and make it a healthier, more equitable space, and we're going to do that one project at a time. I always appreciate anyone willing to listen to what we have to say. So thank you very much for your time.